fairly tight timeline. I'm not trying to say that we don't need to act, but absorb the information. We got a mid-month work session in April, and then we
We
can.
need to
Well, let's
take
just do
action.
it, let's do, yeah, I mean,
I think we need to move on this.
You think we should do it?
I do. 'Cause I know the
Whatever
need is
pleasure
there.
this commission
And if this is, I mean, these prices, they look like.
Well, they're state contract prices, and so
is.
we'll,
No better.
So
we
here's-
can move forward.
you're saying though that the dozer itself runs out? When you
The
say this,
loader-
when you
The
say,
loader is at the end of the month.
You say
Is
the
that
splash.
what-
The loader's the only thing that's at the end of the month, and then the end of May, one's in June, one's in July. And one thing too is going to sixth graders right now, I'm not trying to steal the gentleman's thunder, we don't have to operate
Right.
sixth graders
Yeah.
right now, so we got to, if that's the general feel of the commission, we need to ramp up or identify somebody out there we can get on it, because there's no reason to have that machine sitting on the yard leasing it.
and you,
And you know, hey,
And
if you
there's-
let them sit around there a couple of weeks, they'll say, those guys don't do anything.
Yeah.
You may have
and
four
there's so
out
much
working.
work going on right now that it's gonna be tough finding a grader operator.
Well, they've probably got some internally they could shoot around.
But the splash dollars you're talking about?
About that time, right?
You're talking about just in the cycle?
Hey, you know, you man that can
Yeah,
tell us.
which makes sense for-
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a couple of guys we can shift around, but I've got some that do not run every day. I mean, we can cover them, I mean, that's,
Yeah, we don't want them sitting out.
no, I mean, I know that. The problem is if we don't order them now, you're looking at 16 weeks out to even get them here anyway.
Maybe we do. Maybe
16
we do
weeks.
need to move them.
I think we do.
Once they put them in the field line, and then what, 16, 13, 16 weeks.
I think we need to.
So I mean, if you do it now, you've got,
We need to go ahead and do it.
That's not
No,
real,
that's
that's
new
what
to me.
you
I
are.
didn't realize they were
basically they're,
You're not
We need to
stockpiling
take
anything
action on
on it.
this.
no.
You do their stock price. I
That's
think we
right.
need to
Yeah,
move
big
on
time.
this.
You know, if we draw any criticism, it's about roads. I hear it occasionally, not every day.
I hear it every day.
So you got four.
Well, you probably hear it every day.
well, I guarantee for all the ones that are bragging, there's some,
Oh,
we could rub up a few that's not.
Well, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman,
We can rub up.
we have taken our grass tractors and he's got blades and they're doing as best they can to go out and do spot grading and try to fill in the gap between schedules, but it's not working. It's just not working. And I know we've had a lot of rain, but I'm telling you, I've got the fourth district, and in the nature of my business is I ride most of these dirt roads anyway. I know the need is there for 2 additional graders like we used to have. We can get around a lot quicker, and this is something I've dealt with my 7+ years, you know, with the public.
Yes, sir.
You know, so I think we need to move on
So
this.
you can man the grader.
Commissioners, y'all okay?
I think
with this-
between now and the time they
moving
come in,
forward
we can make arrangements.
Hey, he's a pretty good operator. I've watched
with this?
him.
We have Mike Brooks.
He's pretty good.
We got a road paved today, he did.
I guarantee you, I ride that one every day.
Which one's that?
McDonald.
Good for you.
McDonald.
Yeah, he built me a good job. I have to brag on him. He impressed everybody in the community.
Commissioners, y'all okay with let's go ahead and move it on this?
Yes.
It's gonna be that kind of time frame.
Yes.
We don't
I-
have to wait until we do it.
Wheel
and then
wheel
wait
loader,
16 more
he's got on
weeks.
hold.
16 weeks, that's a long way out.
The wheel loader, he's got on hold, and he could have it probably by the timeline of the lease running out.
Yeah. As this equipment runs.
What are
out,
they
we
gonna
need to
do
have a
with
new-
our current graders if they're out of lease?
The new lease won't start until the delivery date of the new
Well, but I
They'll
mean,
leave
we
with no
keep,
grader.
we get to keep using our
one. Yes, sir.
grader
They won't take
because
them
of
away
their.
from
They're not gonna come in
They-
and pull.
they'll
it
leave
over.
New stuff's broke.
They'll leave run until they bring something new.
Okay.
Y'all okay, Commissioners? Let's
That's
go
fine.
ahead. Okay, Madam Clerk, place this item on the agenda. Okay. Item 13, request to approve beer and wine license consumption, tab N, Mr. Bennett.
This is, Ms. Patel over on 512 Waring Street, East Waring Street. James put it on the agenda. I guess it's met all the credentials and he would not have moved it forward.
It has, it's so, the guy who originally purchased it, he purchased two at one time, and then I think he also purchased some in Brunswick. And so, I think it ended up being a little too much for him, so he sold it. And so we've done a fingerprint or background check, everything's okay.
Everything's good. Commissioners, y'all okay with this? Madam Clerk, place that on consent agenda, please, ma'am. All right, Commissioners' items, under tab N. Commissioner Dempsey.
Mr. Chairman, I have a couple items,
Okay.
dealing with recreation. My first item was that I wanted the board to, support the concept of renaming Recreation Drive after Mr. Brown, Cecil Brown. Long time, Cecil Brown?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Long time employee, volunteer coach, and everything, and we talking about basically from Victory Drive, which is the highway, all up into the park after Cecil Brown Recreation Road or Drive or something along that line. I've been meeting with the rec board, and the rec board has, I see Dave's here, and, the rec board has, agreed to, put their stamp of approval on it with Rod and everybody. You have anything to say, Dave?
We sent a letter.
They sent a letter too, okay.
I've got it on the planning commission agenda,
Already? Oh, good deal.
and they'll meet tomorrow, and then in May, county commission will vote on it.
Okay. Appreciate it.
I'd like to comment about this. Cecil Brown has been in the recreation. I got a 48-year-old son, and he coached him in the All-Stars. I spent years ago. So he's touched a lot of young people's lives. And I think it'd just be an honor to name that.
He was really, I called him before I, met with the rec board just to see, I want him to, not be aware of it. He was, he didn't sound like, I guess I must have woke him up. But he was like, okay. And then the next morning, he bought me a stack of stuff. His history and everything, since 1948, all the things that he's done, and worked for every recreation director we've ever had, going back to Mickey Kekovic, from 48 and everything. So I guess as he woke up, he thought about it, he was really excited, and got me a whole bunch of stuff.
He hasn't changed that much.
No, Mr. Brown, he's the same as he was, when I first met him back in the 60s.
I grew up right across the street from him. He used to beat me with that cane when I was little.
But did you need it?
No, none of us ever. Oh, he's a good man. I mean, you was talking about little Jimmy, but I grew up across the street, and he was coaching long before we came. He was with the Wake Cross Bears and everything else. I mean, he's done a lot with the recreation of kids in
We
this community.
probably need to put this in a form of action to do that number.
Well, since it's on the
recommendation came from
We'll have a planning commission meeting, and you'll have a public hearing in May.
Okay, yeah,
And
that's
it'll
right.
And then you'll go from the public hearing to the regular meeting.
Okay,
So,
we definitely want to do that.
And with the information that he gave me, I'd like to work with Lisa on doing a resolution with the attorney, whatever, giving him something to put on his wall, 'cause he keeps everything, believe me. He got articles from back in the 70s, 60s of his coaching stuff in this little scrapbook, so he keeps everything. And I think that'd be a nice honor, for that. On the second recreation piece, just wanna, to get blessing from the commission. I wanna work with Rod and the rec board. I've been going to the rec board meetings the last couple of months, and to work more closely with them, to basically, look at, the recreation as a whole, because I really believe that recreation has achieved its purpose. I think, there's a lot more that can be done. And we all know because of schools and things, the participation is down because more kids are playing school ball, and there's some things that we probably work with the school board and try to get participation up. Let's utilize the facilities a little bit more to try to get, recreation is so important. Let me just say that recreation is so important in the community. I know I harp on it a lot, because when you look at economic development, you look at whether it's doctors, lawyers, or businesses coming into town, they look at the schools, they look at recreation, look at the hospitals, they look at things that because that's where their kids want to participate, whether it's volleyball or soccer or gymnastics. And I think there's a lot more that we could do to really showcase our community, because we got a beautiful facility out there, and I just think it needs to be utilized a bit better. So I just wanted to, just to throw that out there, and that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Turner? You got anything? Commissioner Diggs?
No,
Well, I've already spoke part of, about the roads, last 2 or 3, or the last week, I've been kind of following behind the LeMig program, and it's underway right now, and I was out on the swamp side today at Seminole Trail, and those of you that's got some time, you need to ride and look at the rehab that's going on these roads, and it's nice to have that LeMig money and that little old penny, that splash penny that really makes our LeMig money go a lot further, and very much appreciate. I know the folks that lives in these areas is very much appreciated. I wanted to make note of that, and that's all I have. All right, Mr. Matthew, it's your time.
No.
Mr. Manager?
When we looked at our vehicles for this round of the SPOS, one of them that we looked at is a little bit different than the price that we got approved, and it's around $2,913 difference. Now that's a small amount, it's within my authorization amount, but the reason why I bring it up before you is because when we approved those purchases, we approved them with a not to exceed amount. So with the not to exceed amount, I didn't want to come in here and say, well, you know, I've got a little discrepancy over here. So the fuel truck chassis is actually longer for the flatbed fuel truck, so therefore it warrants more money for a heavy duty frame, longer frame. So it's basically $2,913 difference. So I just want to make you aware of that. I realize it's within my authorization amount, but when we pass a not to exceed amount, without you reauthorizing, I feel like I shouldn't go in there and approve those purchases. The other thing is Recreation Department has 2 openings for employee requisitions that are budgeted positions before you for approval. Also, Juvenile Court Deputy Clerk, who's been here over 20 years, is announcing her retirement, and they would like a transition period to train a clerk if they could capture somebody in between now and when the lady retires, and they suspect it's gonna be the end of July, around August, when she retires. And they asked, the juvenile judge asked me, and I said, if you'll put in a requisition, we've done some of that for people that have been here years that need some training and all, and they only have one other staff member, and he's a part-time judge. So they said if they could, and if you would approve it, it will go into, it's from a part-time, a transition into, and then upon retirement of the other lady, then full-time. Kind of a look and see period, if the commission's all right with that request from Judge Parker.
Okay with that.
Also, Judge Parker put in a quitclaim deed for some road closures and some research that have been done by the clerk and by the planning department on some road closures, and for your review and to see if we could get authorization. I think he actually put me on, no, he put the chairman on there, excuse me, attested by me, to authorization to sign this quitclaim deed on Woodruff Street between Monroe and Walter Street. It was formally closed by the commission, and there's meetings reflecting that, but there's a development going on out there, and they would like to capture that right away. They own on both sides, this development. But it does impact this area, and they need it to build on. But that's the normal process, half of it reversed. So if you're okay with signing the quitclaim deed, if the board would authorize that.
These go to the regular meeting, right?
Yes.
Yes. So we want to put on the agenda?
So
I don't know.
See, well, here's the deal, administratively, and I'd have to look at the minutes, but by operation of law, if we close a road, that we have two categories. We can have deeded right of way, or we can have prescriptive right of way. Now, I think this was a road that there was prescriptive, this was deeded. Right. So, when we receive that deeded right of way, and we close that road, then there's a mechanism by which we can deed it back to those parties. So it's the proper thing to do. And when they own both sides of the road, then, we deed it back to, and if they didn't own both sides of the road, and you still had a deeded right of way, then you have to sort out to which, or whether you split it, how do you manage that? There's some rules for that. So, because we've closed the road, I'd feel better if we just went ahead and voted it in the regular meeting, then we got clarity on it, and I think we put it on there to vote to direct the county attorney to manage, take the necessary steps to quit claim, or to deed the property back to the current landowners on each side. And then the mechanics of that, I'll make sure I get that right, and we'll let the chairman go ahead and sign the quit claim back. But we don't, yes, sir.
Oh, it's good.
Oh, but once we close the road, and this is really true, from an administrative standpoint, we probably got a little box checking we ought to do to make sure we follow up and do those things, because when you have prescriptive right of way, it's less tricky than it is when it's deeded right of way like this is, and so you need to have that deed going back to those owners when it's deeded. So,
Okay, so we.
yeah, let's move it to. I think we'll feel better. Let's just move it, and we'll vote it at the regular meeting, and then I'll see if I can take care of it.
Commissioners, y'all okay? Okay, that'll work, that'll be fine. Thank you, Mr. Turner.
Yes, sir.
All right.
The other thing is obviously the requisition, for the clerk, and, the authorization to move forward with that, from an employee requisition standpoint. You authorize me to do the research and try to see if there's any way that we could start that process.
Well, what if we refuse to accept this resignation?
I think she's gonna go anyway.
Yeah.
She said, "Oh, look at this, you talking?"
I don't think we should do that. I think we should honor her like she's honored us.
Oh, I'm telling you.
I know there's a real good one in Comanche, Oklahoma.
Anyway, I think we
Yes,
should
sir.
honor her like she's honored us.
Yes, sir.
Let her go without a whole lot of anxiety and do the things she needs to do, because obviously she can't feel good about having to leave me.
Did y'all get that on tape?
It's on record. It's on record. Obviously, she can't feel good about it.
That's the reason why
That's
she's
the only
going.
thing I'll say about that. That's exactly right. That's probably the reason she's going. But one other thing too is,
Need a bucket of ice water.
I may be out of order here or whatever, but were you all wanting to bring up something about batting cages or something, or is that further down the line?
I think Ray
We're
Ward talked
working
about
with
it, I
this-
think they, looking at, putting something together, whatever. But
Okay.
I don't think it wasn't gonna be talked about today, Rob?
We ready.
Yeah,
We got drawings, either put 4 on the youth side and 2 on the adult side, or 3 and 2.
Okay.
That's one thing we don't have we felt at our last meeting, meeting before last, to be better to push for that. That's something that people can see immediately, and back off the paint on the bathroom a little bit, but they don't care, But we've had several parents and coaches approach us about, we have no batting cage, it's not real expensive.
Yeah, I was just fixing to ask, that's not a real high dollar item.
I mean,
Have you figured?
y'all mind coming up so we can
Yeah.
get on record, I mean, make it official.
I just, like I said, there had been some discussion about that. Now, we're bidding, we have some rough estimates on the expansion of the maintenance building, which is a needed project that was approved by you all in September of last year to be done under these SPLOST projects. But my understanding is that the recreation board was getting a lot of, comments about needing batting cages out there, for the facility. So, you know, if all estimates fall in line and we can work that in, we've got big appropriations right now. We've got 1.2 million out, so that'll eat up our next 4 months of appropriations. But we've got some reserves back there too. Not big reserve now, small reserve.
Something will cover.
Maybe.
Maybe.
We get our interest
Ron,
paid.
y'all give us an insight on what you.
Well, like everybody's saying, the batting cage is a big talk in the park. A lot from the parents. And we have a bunch of, tournaments on the weekends, so the batting cage is something that's neat. We constantly tell people to stop hitting soft tossing against the fence, but that's what tears our fence up too. But I was gonna get with, Mr. Clark and look at some batting cages, some numbers. I know I looked at the one up in Metter, and, it's something that we're interested in. Those 2-lane batting cages was $37,000. You gotta have power to it, so there's a lot more to it than what people think.
It's not just a fence and a net. There's a lot more involved.
But at the same time, we don't wanna just throw anything up and, and be out of sequence out there, we wanna kinda keep everything consistent, look good at the same time. So, like I said, I have to get with Mr. Clark, and I know his plate's full. But I'll figure out a time to be able to get to him.
How many companies are they? I'm sure is it something that can be done locally, or is it something that you buy as a unit or a module and put it together? How does?
Yeah, you could buy it as a unit, put it together, or you can buy it in pieces and be able to put it together. Majority of it is just the concrete, the building, and power. The netting and the poles it's not all that expensive. It's the other things that cost money.
Have you got space to do this out there
Yes, sir.
already?
We've already got a location for it, just probably need some site work. It's low out there trembling, so we wanna look at it, make sure it's not gonna be underwater when,
What kind of building were you talking about for the batting cages?
Just a cover,
just to cover.
just a shelter, so
Okay.
it when it rains.
Yeah.
Not a building,
Yeah.
just a cover. Probably similar to what we got over the bleachers, which is just a
Yes.
tarpaulin.
We call it lean-to.
That's not it, tarpaulin, that's what it's cloth like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one thing we can, I think, can bring immediate, impact on but we have all these things coming in, that's the only thing we don't have everybody else there. They can go out and
And we need to get
and between.